Two out of two wins for India, and it's a victory by 36 runs against Australia, which is starting to become a rivalry. Perhaps better than India versus Pakistan, at least in terms of contest. 353 the target set by India, and 316 that's what Australia finished at. Superb day of cricket here at the Oval, and it was that man who comes alive when any ICC event comes around, Shikhar Dhawan, with a 17th ODI 100, setting the stage for India's tall total.
Absolutely. Shikhar Dhawan now averages about 75 in ICC one-day tournaments, 65 in ODIs in England, and really, the guy who perhaps some would have said was the weak link in the last match when he was really put under the pump by Rabada and Morris. But here, the template was set. He faced out that initial spell from Stark and Pat Cummins, and then got 195 balls. Shikhar Dhawan, if anyone had doubts, is a very, very key figure for India at the World Cup.
And especially when it comes to ICC events, we cannot stress that enough. It should be a case study in psychology. You know what happens to the man whenever he comes to an ICC events, 2013, 2017, 2015 World Cup, and now 2019, just keeps on producing the goods. But having said that, it was not just about Shikhar Dhawan. It could not have been possible without contributions from Rohit Sharma, contributions from Virat Kohli, contributions from MS Dhoni, and the power hitter, Hardik Pandya. The tactic was to keep one end together. Rohit Sharma did that, Virat Kohli did that, and Virat Kohli also spoke in the press conference that if he had got out, MS Dhoni would have come out to bat. If Shikhar Dhawan got out, Pandya would come out to bat, because it's like for like replacement and keeps on the acceleration going, and that is what Pandya did, provide the acceleration. What a power hitter.
Absolutely. And Virat Kohli said after the match that after he got to his 50, he spoke to Pandya and said, what should I do? Pandya said, you're hanging around, you're being there gives me confidence. You just hang around, give me strike, I'll hit the runs. And that's what he got, 27 ball, 48. Even MS Dhoni, that cameo, really 352, was always going to be very tough, and it speaks of India's batting depth.
And it was actually key that Pandya comes out and hits those runs. And Virat mentioned that game, and I was there in 2017 Champions Trophy. India lost to Sri Lanka because they put out 330. At one stage, they were in a position to post 340, 350 there, and they missed out on those 20 runs. And that's something, we've been talking in the last 2 years about wrist spin coming and improving the bowling. It has also been about improving the batting, and that is what we saw today. So that is something that has perhaps flown a bit under the radar. And then, of course, when you put 353, even Australia, one of the best, or one of the better, let's say, one of the better batting lineups, even against 353, Australia were always up against it.
Absolutely. They needed a start. They needed a strong start. You thought perhaps this was the day that one of Warner and Finn just came out and said, you know what, let's go after this. It didn't happen because they're up against Bumrah, the best bowler in the world, and Bhuvneshwar Kumar. A bit of a fidgety innings from David Warner, not something we expect from them. And as good as even, Stephen Smith and Alex Carey played. Those
or
overs.
Maxwell
also got a start, but the run rate was already nearing 9 when Maxwell came out, and then of course those overs from Kuldeep and Chahal, very, very, very vital. So yeah, to my mind, it was never going to be a case of Australia getting those runs.
One of the key factors of Australia's chase, of course, was they sent Usman Khawaja at number 4. They were perhaps undecided whether they want to send him or Smith at 3 or 4. I think that's where Australia perhaps lost out. The other factor, not many wickets for Kuldeep and Chahal in the initial part of their spells, but they later came on. They bowled restrictive spells, and that was the case. India bowled a lot of dot deliveries against Australia in that chase, and in the end, it turned out to be the difference. Close game, 316 for Australia after India posted 353. 2 equal teams, but this was the big match. Toughest opposition out of the first 4 perhaps for India, and they've got 2 points.
Exactly what Virat Kohli said after the match. He said it's very good that they're playing teams like Australia up front. Now they go and face New Zealand, top one-day teams. South Africa, yes, they're ranked higher, but in this World Cup, all that's been with them, they're just not a strong team. And I think there's a stat thrown up about 22 overs of dot balls bowled in this match. That is phenomenal. I said it in our preview video. I think India have the best attack in this World Cup, and we saw it today.
A sea of blue then, and that is what witnessed the victory of India against Australia. Next up, it's New Zealand. Next up, it's a trip to Trent Bridge in Nottingham.